the 1970s. So during the 1970s, the Social Security program was facing an issue. Well, I should say that retirees during the 70s had an issue. The problem during the 1970s is that we were facing very high inflation from year to year. And during that time, there was not an automatic cost of living adjustment with Social Security income. And so periodically over the years, starting back in the 1930s, Congress would periodically authorize a cost of living adjustment, but it was not automatic. And by the 1970s, it was certainly falling short and not keeping pace. So retirees were every single year losing purchasing power, becoming more and more poorer every single year, able to afford less. And so a bill was passed, and in 1972, there was an automatic 20% increase for everybody's Social Security benefits across the board. Then, in 1975, automatic cost of living adjustments tied to the Consumer Price Index began, and this helped to alleviate, the effects of inflation for retirees. Now, when these changes were instituted, it accelerated some problems that were already faced by the Social Security system. At that point, the Social Security Trust Fund was already on a downward trajectory for the time. So with these cost of living adjustments, it just accelerated that and made the financial stability of the program even worse. In addition to that, there was poor growth. The economy was not strong in the 1970s, and so there just wasn't as much payroll contributions going into the Social Security system. So to face the looming financial crisis with the Social Security system in 1983, President Reagan called a bipartisan commission to figure out how to fix the program and present recommendations that could be then presented to Congress and signed into law by the president. That was known as the Greenspan Commission. And this is where many of the modern features of the Social Security system were implemented. These changes were things like the full retirement age, or the age at which you were entitled to your full benefit that you earned, increased slowly, going up from 66 all the way up to 67, depending on what year were born. The other change that was instituted was taxation of benefits. And at first, the maximum taxation of Social Security was capped at 50%. It was later increased to 85% of your benefits could be subject to tax based on your other income sources in retirement. It also instituted changes like increasing the payroll tax amount. Another change that happened is federal employees then began contributing into the Social Security program in order to broaden the base of payroll contributions going into the system. Another little wonky thing that happened as well is that it allowed for inter-fund borrowing. So the Medicare fund could borrow from the disability fund, or the disability fund and Medicare could borrow from the retirement income fund. So this cross borrowing to meet short-term shortfalls in payments was authorized as well. Now, with these changes that were implemented, it immediately fixed the problems with the Social Security system. And later in 1993, under President Bill